Bourbon, Broncos, and No B.S. Fans, brews, and Broncos news. What's up, Broncos country? Welcome to the Halftime Hash, the last preseason Halftime Hash for this season, as the Broncos are halfway through their Game 3 finale, getting ready to make some major roster cuts here in the next couple days, guys. So we have some stuff that we have got to talk about after what we saw in the first half. Basically, look, Broncos are up 16-9 with a very nice 2-minute drive here at the end of the first half, led by Sam 𝐤𝐿𝐴𝐿𝐴NGER, who went down and helped the Broncos score, made some very nice passes. Wide receivers made some very nice catches, and that looked really good. However, we need to go back to the entirety of the first half or first part of the game there in the first quarter. So again, guys, post your comments, post your questions. I want to hear what you have to say, or any questions that you guys have concerning the preseason game here so far. So let's see. Let's break down some of these numbers. Bo Nix, 10 for 14. And let's see. 2 of those were drops by, I know Ingram had one, and yeah, Courtland Sutton did have a drop as well, if not 2. One of them he definitely could have caught. The pass over to Evan Ingram, I don't know what that was about. I mean, nobody by him. That's a ball that he should normally have caught, right? I don't know if he was thinking end zone and looking upfield before making sure he had the ball. But so out of the 4 incompletions from Bo Nix, 2 of them at least were drops. And you go back to last year, guys, the drop problem from the Broncos wide receivers were, I think, 3rd worst in the league. And that was one of the things we've talked about during this offseason of this is something that the Broncos have absolutely got to clean up. You know, it counts against Bo Nix's stats when there's just an incompletion, and I get that, but we also have to look at how many of those passes made it to the target, were very catchable footballs, and the player dropped it, right? And what we saw, especially from Evan Ingram right there, like those are situations that you just absolutely cannot have. It was a decent gain. He probably could have run for 5+ more yards. Knowing Ingram the way he is, he could have turned that into 15, 20 yards, right? But the fact that he dropped it, well, that just screwed everything over. So, but I did not really like what I saw from the Broncos offense in the first 2 drives. Very disconnected, disjointed. There was a delay of game penalty, which I'm glad that Sean Payton did not call the timeout to save Bo Nix from that. Basically, to hit the point home there that, you know, you have got to snap the ball on time. You've got to get out of the huddle on time. And that was not the case. Bo was very slow to get the huddle going, to get out of the huddle and get up to the line. And by the time Bo made an adjustment and stepped back, you know, he needed 5 to 10 more seconds, at least 5 more seconds to get the ball off before that delay of game penalty. So mistakes, they're still being made. Now, thankfully, I mean, we're not seeing the Broncos get penalized really for much of anything. But the fact of the matter is they still did not look good. It wasn't until their 3rd drive, and even their 3rd drive where they got the touchdown, guys, did not look pretty. At the very beginning there, you know, they were backed up near their own end zone, I think within their own 10-yard line. And it was a penalty, a personal foul penalty by one of the Saints players that allowed the Broncos to get out of, I think it was the 3rd down situation that was about to happen, and get them up to like the 20, 25-yard line. That's what started the drive for those guys. At the beginning, if it hadn't been for that penalty, it would have been another 3 and out. Right. And so while you can look at the majority of the drive after that and say, huh, okay, cool. They got things going. They got in a groove. They got in a rhythm. That's great. But what we saw from these 3 drives from the Broncos offense was, one, they shouldn't have been out there that long. They looked so bad in the first 2 drives. They needed to get a 3rd drive out there and go beyond the 8 to 10, 12, 8 to 10 plays that we saw. So not some good stuff, guys. But seriously, let me know what you think. Let me know what questions you have. I mean, I can give you all of my breakdowns and things I saw, but I want to hear from you guys too, because otherwise it's just me talking, and that's a little boring sometimes, right? I talk to myself all day long. I want to talk to you guys. Let's see. Sam Ehlinger, though, was put out there after Bo Nix. He's looking 9 for 12 right now. Not too bad. Running game, really non-existent. And again, so here's some of the things that I've seen that I think between the passing game and the run game, I think it boils down to the offensive line. We're seeing a lot of pressure get through the offensive line and getting to Bo Nix. We're not seeing any real clear run lanes open up for these running backs. And David in our chat asked a very good question. Has our offensive line regressed? We had one of the best offensive lines, if not the best offensive line. Well, I'm going to say the best. One of the top 5 best offensive lines last year. And so to see the starters go out there and just, it seems like people are getting through left and right without any problem whatsoever. Maybe there's some preseason, hey, let's not go 100% because we're going to save this for the regular season. Okay, but you also got to protect your quarterback, right? You also got to make sure that somebody's not going to fly around the edge there, bring Bo down to the ground and obliterate him before the start of the season. So I'm kind of concerned, not so much about Bo Nix's play. I'm concerned more about what we've seen from, or lack of what we've seen from the offensive line there. So that's just something to note. It's a preseason thing. Again, I don't know if that's, the case or if we're looking too much into that. But the fact of the matter is, it's a trend that we've seen between the 49ers game and this game. It's definitely a trend. Jose's in the chat. Let me bring up the chat window here. It's not going to appear right there, but we'll bring it up here. Bo Nix, can you play good on the field? He made 113 yards, and that's not bad. You're right. It's not bad. No, in the second half, he will not take over. Bo Nix is done. We are not risking Bo Nix we're not risking any starters that, in the second half here. This is all going to be backups, and really, again, the chance for them to look at a couple of these key position battles or decisions they're trying to make when it comes to the roster cut down. So I know you saw Bo Nix there on the side of the field with his helmet on. They're not going to throw the starters back out there. It doesn't make any sense. They got their touchdown. They got in their rhythm. They made some really good plays. And that's all you need to see from them right now. So we'll see Bo Nix in about 2 weeks' time for the entirety of the game against the Titans. And we'll go from there, guys. But Bo Nix is done for the preseason. Again, look, good numbers, 110 yards from what I'm seeing, 7.9 yards per, 7.9 average on the passing yards there. Not bad. Looking at receiving, Courtland Sutton definitely was standing out as the favorite. Again, not to be, or that is to be expected. But spreading the ball out. Evan Ingram would have had a really nice catch and run there if he had just caught the frickin' ball. Pat Bryant has had 2 passes thrown his way. One I know was tipped. I don't remember what happened to the other one. So not really his fault there. But Lucas Krull, 2 for 2, 38 yards. And I know our very own Adam is going to be happy about that, as he is the founder of the Lucas Krull fan club. So I think he's the founder, president, and CEO of the Lucas Krull fan club. So I do want to give a special shout out. I don't know if Sean's here or not. I haven't seen him in the chat, but just in case Sean does pop up here, I want to give a special shout out to one of our favorite players, Mitchell Fabroni, who is the long snapper, if you don't know, of the Broncos. So for the various field goals and extra point attempts that we've had so far in the game, he has been 100%. And that's completely to be expected of a guy of that caliber to be that consistent. So good news there, guys. But yeah, look, overall in the offense, it's not pretty, but it's not terrible. It just started slow. But the Broncos can't go out there and have slow starts like that. They just can't. Brad Smith from across the sea. What's up, buddy? Yeah, he didn't catch it. I think Evan Ingram's going to be okay, though. I think that was more of a fluke. And he's human, right? I'll tell you what, these guys can block, though, unlike Jerry Jeudy. Good to see you, Brad, as always, buddy. Sean. Okay, not that convincing, but we seem to be relying on Sutton, RJ Harvey, a lot to learn. Yeah, and so this is a great point. And so when it comes to Courtland Sutton, like, it's great we have him. It's great that we got him that contract extension. And again, from our group chat here, we've seen, I think David said they're going to, Courtland Sutton's really going to show that the contract extension we gave him is a bargain, right? He is a top-notch caliber player. He's always consistent. You can rely on him for those tough 50-50 catches, and that's great and all, but we've got to spread the ball out and get the other guys involved, which we've seen from the list here that they're doing a good job of, and just a matter of how's that going to translate into the regular season. Now, for RJ Harvey, looking at his numbers, 3 carries and only 1.3 yards on average per carry. So not good numbers there, but you look at why that didn't happen. It wasn't like he went down as soon as he got contact, right? He ran into a pile of people. The offensive line did not do any help or did not help him in any way to get a running lane open, to push the pile forward. Offensive line really kind of looks like they're just giving it 50%. And they're looking very mundane compared to what we saw from them last year. So again, is that preseason? We're just not going to go above and beyond to make sure we don't get hurt or whatnot, but too much pressure on Bo Nix. The offensive line is not helping when it comes to the run game. So look, RJ Harvey does have a lot to learn, but he's got to get some help from that offensive line. They have got to get him a path cleared to at least get some yards going up the field. He does need to be more explosive once he gets the ball. It seems like there's about a half-second hesitation there while he plants his foot and figures out where he needs to go. He has got to get over that and just go where he needs to go and then trust that the offensive line is going to get their job done. The problem is, even if he did that, it doesn't look like the offensive line is getting that done. So good comment, Sean. It's going to be interesting. But look, I'm glad we have Sutton. Once we have these other starters out there and we see the full playbook opened up, that's going to look good too. The other thing when it comes to Bo Nix is you got to remember they're not calling and even planning on calling any planned quarterback runs. So the defenses here are not even taking into consideration the fact that they have to, worry about Bo Nix taking off. He ain't going to do that in the preseason, right? So once the regular season starts, now you're going to have at least probably a player staying as a spy in the backup. That's one less player to rush. That's one less player to cover somebody, right? And that's going to be an advantage for the Broncos there too. So once we're able to actually open up the full real playbook and attack them the way that we want to in order to scheme to win the game, we're going to have more options. So right now we're looking at, the fundamentals. How do they execute the fundamentals, the basics? And so far it was, right. You're getting a delay of game penalty. It doesn't matter, right? This is your second year. There's no excuse for that. That is something that just cannot be allowed to happen. Why is it taking you that long to get out of the huddle? Right now, obviously it's not a, Russell Wilson situation where we need to be counting down the play clock. That's not what's happening here, but it's these little things like that where it's kind of questioning, where are we at with this offense? And kind of, we go back to what Sean Payton said earlier in the offseason, where he said it's probably going to be a quarter of the way through the regular season before we have a good idea of what this offense actually is this year. So there's still going to be some growing pains that we're going to have to deal with, but you have to prevent the things that you can control, such as getting to the line of scrimmage in time for you to analyze, adjust, change the play call if you need, reanalyze, and then get the ball off, right? There's a lot that happens before the ball is hiked, and we just have to make sure that gets cleaned up. All right, Jerry, good to see you here as always too, man. Having a hard time watching the game. Don't know what was going on. I have to watch it on my phone because the local Denver Fox channel here that it says it's supposed to be on is showing golf. Ugh, like, why? I get playing golf is one thing. I just don't understand watching golf. It's like watching paint dry, which would be more entertaining. Especially this paint back here. This was fun to watch dry. Keep in mind, this is time when they get things together. Exactly, Jerry. Like, look, this is preseason. They're not being overly aggressive. The purpose for the preseason here is to analyze the things that they need to analyze and not so much come up with a game plan that's going to go out there to get them a win. It's doing things that they need to do to best analyze the players on the team to make the best decisions when it comes down to the roster cut down date, which is on Tuesday. So yeah, let them work these things out. Let them make these mistakes here and learn from them so they can prevent them by the start of the regular season. So am I saying I'm concerned? No. Are there things that, if these trends continue, will be a concern as of like at the end of week 1, at the end of the Titans game? If these concerns between the offensive line and kind of the lack of the run game, those things continue, now we have a problem, right? Because we have a trend from 2 data points of 2 preseason games the starters played in, and we've had a regular season game at that point. So 3 games worth of data sets. And if those trends continue, then we can say we have concerns. So again, we'll wait and see. Let's not hit the panic button yet. But we're seeing a trend. And when you start to see trends, even in preseason, you got to wonder how much of a problem is that going to be by the start of the season there. So maybe other people have better luck. It's on channel 20, but on YouTube TV, it's telling me it's not my area, which I'm here in Denver and it's never been a problem before. Anyway, Jose, Courtland Sutton signed. So Courtland Sutton and his contract extension was huge. And that's such a great deal, right? He definitely took a hometown discount, which is going to be a major relief monetarily for the Broncos when it comes to the next offseason. And we have a ton more, we don't have the Russell Wilson shadow looming over us at that point any longer. So really appreciate Courtland Sutton kind of taking that route, not demanding absolute top dollar, but still getting compensated for, compared to what other players are getting fairly well compared to Courtland Sutton's skill set there. So let's see. Bo Nix being a superstar on earth is now or bust. Look, let's say worst case happens, guys. Let's say we see Bo Nix have a sophomore slump. Okay. Like, it's not terrible. It's not a good thing to talk about. It's not a good problem to have. But just because you have a sophomore slump doesn't mean you can't end up rebounding and going on to be a really good quarterback. So this isn't a make or break year for Bo Nix. He's going to play throughout his rookie contract. And at the end of the rookie contract, right, if we're still looking at, if we end up having major concerns or problems with him, then that's a different issue. But that's years away from now. So Bo Nix is a guy, he still has a lot to learn as he just kind of picks up on, different things that different coordinators do, different looks, different schemes, and it's stuff that he's going to be able to process and pick up on and learn from the mistakes that he makes. So we just got to keep in mind, he's a second-year quarterback. He's not a Peyton Manning. He's not a John Elway. He's not a Tom Brady. Maybe in the making, but he ain't there yet. So we got some time. Jerry, so yeah, for, you're in Salt Lake, and for everybody else out there who's not able to watch the game here, game has started back up. So we're going to wrap this up, guys, as the Broncos have the ball back to start, or, after making a stop there against the Saints. But look, still plenty to talk about on Monday night at 8 p.m. Mountain Time. We got our post-game podcast live across all the different platforms. Make sure you tune in, because that'll be our last chance to do some roster predictions and breakdowns of what we expect to happen on this Tuesday, for when we go from 90 to 53 men on the roster. And then Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, Bourbon Broncos NO B.S live again there. And we will be officially breaking down the full set roster at that point and talking about potential practice squad pickups. So we will see, guys. It's going to be interesting. Do not be surprised if there's another trade or two from the Broncos following today's game. So Monday is going to be interesting as well. We could have some interesting news there. Just make sure you tune in and go ahead and sign up and follow us as well at broncosandbourbon.com. subscribe on YouTube and Facebook and all those different places. So anyway, guys, let's get back to the game and see these Broncos close out and go 3-0 on the preseason. And next up, it's Titans at Denver in 2 weeks, guys. So get ready for it. Regular season is basically here. So anyway, take care, guys. We'll see you Monday night. And I have nothing left to say now other than to end this show as we always do on a very strong Go Broncos. Take care, guys. We'll see you later.
What I like, sipping goose, sip is right, and I go with the flow. Yeah, I go with the flow. Yeah, I go with the flow. Cause I know I'm the show. In the zone, here I go. In the zone, here I go. In the zone, here I go. Yeah, they know I'm a